Yo, 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 yo. What's up, everybody? Hello. Welcome back to race number 2, the second race of the Endgame Racing F4 Championship, sponsored by, of course, Endgame Coffee. Today's race is hosted at Circuito, Navarra, a newer addition to iRacing's track library located near Los Arcos, Spain, or on iRacing servers. Drivers today can expect some clouds with what will be disappearing as the day goes on, which could increase the track temp, allowing for more people to spin out, which, you know, we're all here for. In case you missed last week, we had 3 races that consisted of absolute non-stop action, including a couple very close finishes that were right within a tenth of each other, which is pretty wild to watch. Heat 1 was won by Charlie Pullier, followed by Jordan Whitman and Stephen Cross. And the intervals between just those 3 were only 4 tenths. So pretty wild coming across the line. Then following, Heat 2, again, won by the all-star Charlie Pullier. Only this time Stephen Cross moved up from 3rd into 2nd, and Carl Ribbing took 3rd place. The gap between Charlie and Stephen was even closer than Heat 1 at just under 2 tenths. Same exact thing as Heat 1 though, just fighting right up to the line. And the final feature race was won by Stephen Cross, followed by Ryan Winfeld and Charlie Pullier. So Stephen kept getting 1 position closer and closer, and finally taking the win in the 3rd race. Let's see. So with the way tonight's track is laid out, I'm hoping to see that same aggression, that same thirst for well-fought victory right up until the finish line again, as Navarra contains many high-speed corners, high-speed kinks to keep that momentum flowing. Again, another draft-heavy track. So yeah, let's take a moment and kind of go through what we're looking at. Once I figure out how to pull it up. Hey, there we go. So here's Navarra. As you can see on the bottom, another long straight, same as last week, where we had Mugello coming in. Very long straight again, couple turns right off the bat. Only turn 1 is a kink. You're not going to be braking for that, but you're going to go right into turn 2 with heavy braking going into a tight turn 3. That, I think, is the hardest part of this track. So everyone's going to come barreling down. The draft's going to be hitting down the front straight, and they're just going to go right into turn 1, 2, and 3 all next to each other. So hopefully we're going to see some passes there. Rest of the track's pretty straightforward, all about momentum. Same with last week. It's, I mean, if you get a bad run out of, say, turn 8, maybe 13, and then the final turn 15 onto the back straight, you're going to be left to dry. So that's going to be a tough one for all the drivers today, especially if the temperature keeps increasing. What else do we have to talk about? That's about it. Let's see who's doing some practice runs. Oh, we're actually on to qualifying, and I did not notice. So, on to qualifying. Here's Jason Lyons starting his outlap. Let's see. It was quick in practice, so I'm assuming his qualifying will be pretty damn good. Also, let me turn on the audio. Alright, here comes Jason starting his first lap. So why don't I talk through it a little bit. Alright, so barreling down the front straight, 160 horsepower, inline 4 engine. You're going to hit the kink at about 132 miles an hour. Then you're going to go slamming on the brakes into turn 3, a very tight turn with a wide exit. You're going to move over to the right side of the track, pending turn 4. That's just the simple kink. Now you're going to be going straight into a very long left-hander. Some people are going to tap their brake, maybe 3% as they come along. Other people are just going to lift off the throttle. You hear Jason, he's already back right on the throttle. Going to the exit of turn 7, now into a 90-degree turn 8. Down into second gear. Very, he doesn't want to go too wide because those bumps are really going to screw up the car. They're going to knock you off balance, could cause you to go into a spin. Now he's going down turn 9. This is a little bit tighter than the last turn. So right as you're about to gain speed, you're going to have to crawl to the right side, slam the brakes, and go for a hard turn 11. Now same thing, another hard turn into 12, followed by another straightaway. So this is just proving my point how the draft is going to be very important for this race. So now as he's going down, here's the kink of turn 11 into the final turn of 15. You're going to want to keep a tight line, but keep the momentum into the exit going up onto the curbs to get the maximum drive that you want for the top speed at the end of the straight. So let's see. So that is a 140.979. Here comes Charlie. A little slower, but barely. I looked at the wrong time. There we go. Now the times are coming in. Let's jump to someone else. So we're on board now with Eric Hives starting his second lap. Or actually, that might be the first lap because it looks like he didn't set a time yet. Here's that long sweeping turn 5 and 6. Alright, coming into the tight turn 9. Still keeps the speed, most important. Alright, coming into the final turn, 15. This lap looked pretty solid, very consistent, so I'm curious what the time is going to be. $143.2, not far off. And a solid lap too. Alright, let's jump over to... I don't want to give the commentator's curse to Kyle again, so we'll go jump on with Carl. Here into turn 11. Great exit, keeping his car on the right side for the impending left turn. Ooh, a little sideways on the rear end there, but I don't think that would have lost him too much time. Of course, the finale. So improves, but only by a little bit. 141, 103. Oh, and Kyle just got past him. Wow. 0.006 difference between Kyle and Carl. Oops, Jeremy, a little too... almost spun it. Looks like he saved it. Alright, so Jeremy... I don't know if he just came out of the pits, but looks like that time did not count. So maybe when he kind of lost the car a little bit, he gotten off track or something, but he kept on with his 144.583. And I believe that is almost over. Looks like no one else is on the track. All right. So here are the results. There. Okay. Oh, there we go. So Charlie Poulier gets pole position, followed by Jordan Whitman, Ryan Winfeld, Jason Lyons, Kyle McBride in 5th, Carl Ribbing in 6th, Eric Hives 7th, Jeremy Smith 8, Boston Els 9th, Mike Ballion 10, and Michael Hawkins 11. I think this is going to be good. Plus the top 5 all within 5/10 of each other. Oof. All right, here we go. Everyone's lining up. And we are racing. Looks like, who's that in the front? Charlie got a great start. Everyone keeping their same grid right now. Boston Els past Jeremy Smith for P8. And let's see the mayhem of turn 1. I believe that's Jordan on the inside of the right. But too wide. Charlie has gained a little bit of time on the field. Everyone keeping it in single file now. I can tell in the back there, Michael Hawkins repassed Boston Els. Everyone else appears to stay the same. So it looks like the top 6 are all in the line. Then there's a small gap between 6 and 7. As they make their way to the final corner. Now it's all about the draft. Who gets the better exit? Who gets the quicker run? Let's check the relative for Jordan on Charlie. You could see it going down pretty quickly. but he's not quite there yet. Got Kyle on Jason Lyons for P4. Just want to watch that back. So Kyle had a nice draft, takes the inside. Doesn't break later, but because he had the inside line, I think he had a better entry and thus a better exit. Let's go back to live. Because it looks like Jordan... Oh, Charlie might have had an incident. So Jordan and Ryan passed Charlie. Charlie's now sitting in third. Of course, I miss it when I'm looking at a replay of something else. Here's Ryan on the inside of Charlie. Doesn't make it stick, though. Back to the straight. Imagine he has a run. He's only just over a tenth behind him. Unfortunately, cannot get there. So I jumped to Eric because it looked like he started gaining on Jeremy Smith, and he just continues to get a little bit closer. So if he can stay in the draft, I think he's gonna get pretty close, and Jeremy will have to defend for sure. As we make our way up field a little bit, back to Jason Lyons, coming across the front stretch. Looks like he lost some time in the final sector to Kyle, so I don't think this draft is going to help him too much. But meanwhile, Ryan and Charlie again going into turns 1 and 2, very close together. Charlie's doing a great job at keeping him behind. Jeremy taking the inside line. I didn't see if something happened to him, but it gave Eric a chance to catch right back up, and Michael Hawkins is now joining in on the fun. So let's check in on the front of Charlie and Ryan again going into turn one. Charlie takes the inside line. Still holds back Ryan. Ryan just won't stop putting the pressure on him. Back to Michael Hawkins now, joining the two in front. Eric Hives, Jeremy Smith. And Michael sends it up the inside, almost gets him. Ah, so close. He had a great run, but it looked like Eric just had a little bit more speed carried through that turn. Now Eric's gaining. Right up next to him, brakes a little early. Take the inside swoop. Gets right by him. That was a great move. But now Jeremy's going to be stuck battling Michael Hawkins, who's on the outside for this next turn. Gets a better run. I can't tell who's ahead. Looks like Michael's ahead of him. Awesome driving. And Eric must feel a little bit relieved now that the two behind him are battling and slowing down ever so slightly. He's already a little bit ahead. 1.8 seconds ahead of Michael Hawkins. Now looks like Jason Lyons getting in on the fight, back on Kyle. Let's jump up to Ryan and Charlie. I think there's going to be one lap left. Not entirely sure how this works. I know the top left says lap 6 of 12, but if you look just to the right of that, it's 9 minutes 48 seconds out of 10 minutes. So I believe this will be, there'll be one more lap after this. I lied. That is the checkered flag. We're still going to watch Ryan and Charlie battle it out. Just doesn't get there enough. But Jordan Whitman takes the checkered flag for heat number 1. And someone decided to crash into the board. Jeremy Smith right over the line. Alright, there are a couple events I wanted to watch back real quick. So here's an incident involving Boston Els. Or not. There it goes. I don't know what's wrong with it today. There we go. Ooh. Looks like he just might have turned in a little too hard, carried too much speed. Nothing crazy though. This is the turn before. Looks like the same thing. Okay. Wondering if he had damage or something, because that car did not look like it wanted to turn. So, here's the grid this time around, because the reverse grid. So Kyle McBride, followed by Ryan Winfield. I'm just going to say the first names. Followed by Charlie, Jordan, Jason, Carl, Eric, Michael, Jeremy, Boston, and Mike Ballion. All right, lights are going on. Looks like another great start for Carl. Already getting past Jason Lyons right at the beginning. Kyle McBride with a fantastic start. They're already in a straight line going into turn 2, but looks like Ryan had a small moment there on the underbraking. Show the battles box. This is Jason Lyons and Carl Ribbing. We go back to the front. Looks like Ryan's taking the inside, but gets a lockup on the rear, allowing a few cars to get by. Kyle and Charlie. But will he have the inside line on Jordan? He will. Oh, see something happen in the back there. It looks like Eric Hives took a little detour. Show that replay real quick before anything else happens that I miss. Started to lose the back end, and going over the curb kind of forced it to happen. Now we had to go back to the front because Charlie has a fantastic run on Kyle. Gets to his inside. Will he be able to make it stick? He does. All right, who has got the better draft? So Kyle started about 3 or 4 tenths behind Charlie. Is not gonna get him, unfortunately. Looks like I saw some passing towards the back. Oh, is that Kyle that went wide? Looks like it. Ryan's right there with him. So now Kyle has the inside up to turn 5. There it is. Takes it back. They might be touching a little bit. Oh no! Looks like they had a small contact and Ryan unfortunately lost it because of it. We'll check that in a second. Let's jump right about here. So they're touching. Ryan goes wide and unfortunately spins the car due to the curbing there. I don't see any damage, so it might be okay to continue. Something else happened earlier. Let's see if I can bring that up. Ooh. So here's Michael Hawkins. Looks like he just lost it on the exit of the final turn, turn 15. I don't know if I have a longer video. There it is. Yeah, I just lost it under the acceleration. Excuse me. And Boston had to go off the track to avoid him. All right. Now Jason Lyons keeping Carl Ribbing, right on his toes. He's right behind him. Any mistake, which I haven't seen Carl do in the last couple races, but any mistake, Jason's there. Jason will take that opportunity instantly. So it looked like that lap, Carl was actually the fastest in P3 with the 140.9. Charlie still has a pretty big gap behind him, but he's slowly losing. We'll see if Kyle is able to catch him. But it's going to be tough because he has two cars now coming right up to him. Oh, the final turn! Kyle spins! Maybe went a little bit too fast on the entry, spun the rear right around. And Carl and Jason were able to get by. That does not mean they're not fighting anymore, however. As Jason has been right behind Carl the last few laps. Alright, so Jason is half a second back. I don't think the draft is going to get him too close. And looking at the lap times, it looks like Carl has the pace to keep him back. Alright, this time is 3/10 back. Still don't think that'll be enough. But Kyle will have to get turn 1 absolutely perfect, give him no room to catch up. Looks like he has. Right, so let's jump back to Jeremy Smith and Eric Hives. Eric Hives leading, but Jeremy's right behind him. It looks like last lap Eric passed Jeremy for P7. Take a look at that in a minute. Alright, here's that pass. So this is going into turn 1. Oh, looks like Jeremy had a small moment. I think I can crank that back and see that replay as well. So he's going into turn 2. You can already tell the car is a bit unsettled as he's continuing to turn to the right, and under the braking, unfortunately, just causes the car to spin. It's not the easiest corner, that's for sure. And as I look at the timing, looks like Carl and Kyle are right back at it. By Kyle, I mean Jason Lyons. I don't know who any of these cars are. Even with the cheat sheet. Looks like behind there's a train. Okay, so that's Kyle on the right. Followed by Jordan and Ryan. Ooh. Jordan goes a bit wide, but Ryan also has a lockup. Jordan keeps the speed to keep Ryan behind. Ryan trying to take the inside, but unfortunately loses it, gets loose. You can see the marks on the tar there. But didn't lose any position. They're still side by side. Now coming into turn 12. Ryan's still there. Let's see who gets a good exit here. It's going to be crucial. Fortunately for Jordan, he has the draft from Kyle. That'll help a little bit, but not sure entirely. Not like it matters because the race is over and I didn't even know. I wish I had some sort of indication. But there you go. Kyle keeps it ahead of those three fighting. So Kyle McBride, Jordan Wheatman, then Ryan Winfeld for 4, 5, and 6. All right. So I think that was B main, right? There it is. So Charlie with the second win, followed by Jason Lyons, Carl Ribbing, Kyle McBride, Jordan Wheatman, Ryan Winfeld, Eric Ives, Jeremy Smith, Michael Hawkins, Boston Els, and Mike Ballion, who I haven't even seen on the track, so I'll have to message him. He's slacking. Showed up to the race, didn't even drive. Come on. Come on. Who is this guy? All right, so we have a 2-minute warm-up, and then the final feature race. All right. Time for the feature. So, because we're reverse gridding, Jeremy Smith takes pole position, followed by Eric Ives, Ryan Winfeld, Jordan Wheatman, Kyle McBride, Carl Ribbing, Jason Lyons, Charlie, who's won both races starting in P8. So we'll see if he can catch right back up. And after Charlie is Michael Hawkins and Boston Els, who also have been fighting most of the last, they have been fighting the last 2 races, so I mean, that'll get interesting again, especially if they're starting next to each other again. All right, it's time for the feature. Looks like Jeremy may not have got the best start. Jordan Wheatman now leading with Ryan right behind, followed by Kyle, Carl, and Jason. Charlie up to P5 already. Now there's a battle between Carl, Jason, and Charlie. Oh, little runner wide there in the back. I believe that is Boston, yes. Looks like carried too much speed, got a little loose, but car is okay, he's still moving. Things are good. Now let's go back into the final straight. Look like Jordan went a bit wide, but I don't think it's going to matter because it looks like Ryan is quite a ways back. Comes Jason and Carl again. I feel like they've been battling for the last hour. Jason up the inside. Ah! Yeah, it looks like they got a little bit too close there. See if we can see that replay. So here's Jason, gets a great run up the inside. Ah! I don't even think he touched him. I think that was netcode. Car should be alright. I don't see any immediate damage from this camera angle anyway. Oh, what happened in the back too? Oh no, that's Jeremy Smith and Michael Hawkins. Looks like they also got tangled. Looks like we have a minute to go back. So here's Jeremy. A little wide, loses the car, and unfortunately, Michael had nowhere to go. See if I can see it from his point of view. Yeah, so he's coming around the turn. Gets the exit. Ah, that's just unfortunate. Nothing Jeremy can really do there. And just got a notice that Carl had an incident as well. We'll check that in a minute. Alright, let's go back. So here's Carl. Again, just loses it. Same spot. That's the final turn. I don't know if he was coming in too hot or if the tires are getting slippery because it's getting hotter. This is very close as well between Kyle McBride and Charlie Pullier. Sending it up to turn 15. Final turn. Looks like they both got a decent exit. Still fighting into turns 2 and 3. Charlie at the inside of that turn. Now Kyle's going to have the inside for turns 5 and 6. Charlie just couldn't get there. So now we drop back to Jason and Carl. Became very close, but looks like Jason may have had a better line through turns 4 and 5. 3, 4, and 5. Oh, that is Charlie around. Unfortunately, has to wait for... Wait, that's not Charlie. That's Kyle? Oh, that's Kyle around. Unfortunately, has to wait for a few cars to pass before he can come back out onto the track. We'll go to the replay in a second, but I want to see what's happening down at turn 1 between Jordan and Ryan. Jordan's off, allowing Ryan to get the inside line going into turn 3. I said that backwards. Anyway, Ryan's now leading. So let's see what happened to Kyle. Oh, it gets a tire just on the curbing. Throws off the whole car. Does the right thing, of course, by waiting. Just got word that Carl had another incident as well. Let's go back to that. So here he is, turn, I think that's 5, and just loses it. Wow, I wonder if there's any damage from previous? Didn't look like he was going too fast. I'll have a word with him after the race. Hey, shout out to Steven in the chat, finally made it. So Ryan still leading, but has not dropped Jordan whatsoever. Still 3/10 back. So he's still going to have to be on his A game to keep him back there. Especially if they're both doing similar lap times. Any mistake and Jordan's going to pass him right back again. That? Looks like Ryan just had an incident. Yep, again, another one in turn 5. I don't know if the tires are not holding up, track's getting hotter, but let's watch that one back for Ryan. Lost it right there before he even went on the curb. And unfortunately, that took the car right around. Let's go on board with Ryan. Car looks like he's struggling a little bit. Curious how it's driving. Yeah, he's sliding. Sliding a lot. Yeah, takes it easy going into turn 5. Ooh! Driving it on the absolute edge to try to catch up to Charlie. So let's see, I haven't looked at the weather in a while, but qualifying was 97 degrees. It dropped down a little bit from practice, which was at 107. Yeah, and now it creeped back up to 116 degree track temp. That's why everyone is sliding around. That is way hotter than the previous heats. Right. So let's see. Carl's last lap was at 9/10 faster than Kyle's. So he's catching him and catching him. Carl going a little bit wide. Actually did the right thing there by riding out the bumps rather than trying to cut it back onto the track. Because of how slippery these cars are now, that could have been deadly. He could have came right back on track, lost the rear end, and spun. Alright, let's see. While they're battling, I want to see a lap from Jordan's cockpit. Because if we're seeing a couple people sliding all over the place, I'd be interesting to see how Jordan is handling it. So, let's check it out. Easy on the throttle on the exits. He's just driving a little bit toned back, but at the moment, slower is faster. Still little corrections. Nothing too crazy. Looks like Charlie was about 5/10 quicker last lap, but not making any significant gains. So Jordan just still killing it, being consistent, and it's working out for him. All right, let's jump around. So we have Boston L's now coming down the front straight. Started, yeah, P10, now up to P8. Into turn 1. Oops. Again, so coming up to the deadly turns 5 and 6. Keeps it a little bit laid back, but look how smooth his car is now because of that. We'll jump back again to Michael Hawkins in this bright neon green car. I love it. Also, I'm keeping an eye on Carl. Appears to be gaining again on Kyle. We'll jump to that when it happens. Charlie looks like he gained a second on Jordan up front as well. Sorry, half a second. Looks like the white flag is out. As Jordan starts the final lap of the race. Charlie still gaining. Just by a little bit, 4/10 faster last lap. As we jump back to Carl, here's where he's gaining the time, just down this front straight. But fortunately for Carl, Kyle has been on it the rest of the track. Just keeping it nice and clean. Barreling down the straight, here comes the winner. Jordan Wheatman, followed by Charlie Poulier, who is almost under a second behind. Followed by Ryan Winfeld. Followed by Jason Lyons. So now, looks like Carl still has a chance here on Kyle. But it looks like Kyle may have gotten a good run, and unfortunately for Carl, he's going to run out. Love it. So still on the track, Eric Hives approaches turn 14. Now takes the final turn to the checkered flag. Let's check in on Boston. Also approaching the final turn. And Michael Hawkins. Tries to drift the car going across the line. A+ for effort. All right, let's see the results here. So Jordan takes the win of the feature race, followed by Charlie and Ryan, followed by Jason, Kyle, and Carl, Eric Hives, Boston Els, Michael Hawkins, and Jeremy Smith. And Mike Ballion again. He decided he didn't want to drive today, but he wanted to show up, make everyone think he was cool, you know? Some guy. That is it. Unfortunately, do not know what the champion points are going to look like, but if you check out endgameracing.com, they'll be posted shortly. But for now, thanks for joining, everybody. Next week's track, same day, same time, Tuesday, is Motorsport Arena. Cheers, folks.